What's going on, everybody? Jay Lawson here, aka the Black Statistician, and I am just going to talk today about this video that it seems like everybody's posting with Trick Daddy Dollars that came across. And I guess in the video he's saying that I think he's trying to say black women are useless because Hispanics and white women are becoming more curvaceous and more voluptuous, so their appeal is going to be more to black men with their other qualities, which outweigh black women. I think that's the point he's trying to make, which it's definitely obviously a not a valid point, but I can see from his perspective how he could, he might see that or something like that. But it's really a stupid point or whatever. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is because, that particular video has like more views or more people reposting it than anything I'm seeing out there right now. It's like one of the hottest things going as far as in the urban community or whatever. And that's where I'm jumping in. I'm not really on the sensationalism bandwagon kind of thing. But one thing that's sad to me about the black community, my community, is that video, can get 1 million views. But if you had a doctor come out that was like pleading to the black community, hey, we're dying at an earlier rate than everybody else, so let's start limiting this type of food or this type of food or this type of food, right? And he's talking about frying food like Trick Daddy was, then he's only probably going to get like 100 views on YouTube. And that's straight bullshit, man. I'm telling you. And that in itself shows you where we're at in our community, what we value and where we're headed, and why success misses us and everybody else, seems like they kind of push forward. Does that make sense? If we're focused on stuff like this, like whether this is even a valid point, that we're not going to end up in any kind of positive outcome. Because even if we take, and I mean, I liked Trick Daddy when I was 16, 17, when I went to the club or whatever, I would listen to his music and stuff like that. But you don't have to put a lot of stock in what people say. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. And obviously a lot of guys are going to be like, yeah, I agree with Trick Daddy and I respect that. And a lot of people are going to be like, I disagree with him. But for all these people that society seems like they're trying to push him up onto a pedestal, like you're going to speak officially for us. And then now you got a guy that's bashing half of your race, actually more, because there's more black women than black men. Then you're pretty much setting the fuse on your own destruction. And that's what I want you to kind of see, But, if you're raising your kid, and 2 Chainz made a really good point. He was on TV talking to, I think, Nancy Grace or some shit. And he was like, she mentioned something about his lyrics in his Happy Birthday song, how he had something about women walking around butt naked, but only the men had clothes on or something like that. And then he came back and said, well, it all starts in how you're raising your kid, because you're instilling the values. He said he's not raising your kid. And he's right. You got to make sure these celebrities are not raising your kid. You got to do it. Because if you don't, they're going to do it. And your kid's going to idolize whatever celebrity's doing the best at that time and try to be exactly like them. But guess what? If your 17-year-old son is trying to be like Wiz Khalifa, minus the 20 million net worth, it's going to be a bad situation for your kid. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of thing we got to understand. You got to raise your own kids, you know, and not. And I just use Wiz Khalifa as an example because, you know, he's one of the hottest West Coast rappers right now. But I could have said Lil Wayne, Gucci Mane, 2 Chainz, Trick Daddy, whoever. You don't want your kid to be idolizing those people to the fact that they're trying to live life like that person, you know. There's only a finite amount of people that are going to end up being the next Wiz Khalifa or the next Lil Wayne, you know. The ones that are going to try to be like him and fall short, they're going to fall hard, you know. So we need to teach these guys, like I always say, reel them back in. And let's figure out, let's put some more different idols in the community, you know. Let's come up with some more realistic goals. When I was in high school, people were like, I remember this guy, he was like, I'm either going to be a football player or I'm going to rap because I'm a good rapper too. And I was like, what are you going to do if those two don't work? He was like, well, the backup's definitely going to work. Rapping's definitely going to work. 100% chance. And, but my football's most likely going to work. But so anyway, fast forward 4 years, you know, he was on drugs one night in college, tried to rob some lady, got kicked out of college, and ended up, I think, doing a little bit of jail time, got out, and then hit me up on Facebook probably 4 or 5 years ago. And he's not doing anything, you know what I mean? You know, he's 34 years old talking about, yeah, man, I got an album coming out. Like, what? What are you talking about? An album? You got an album coming out? People even buy CDs right now? When's the last time somebody bought a damn CD from you? You know what I mean? I'm looking on his Facebook page of him somewhere passing out CDs. I respect hustling, but that's just silly, man. Because first of all, a lot of people don't even have CD players no more. But anyway, like I was saying, getting back on topic, what can we do? Because, you know, I'm not about putting a problem out without a solution, right? So what we need is more Big Brother type programs where we can have people set up to get, you know, better jobs and things like that when they're younger. Because what usually makes people pinball into that downward spiral in our community when they hit about 18, 19 is what happens is they get out of high school. They try to do the right thing and get a job. You know what I mean? But a lot of times they can't find a job due to the location that they're in or their qualifications. Or they might go to college and fail out because the curriculum of their inner city school was a C school when you needed to have basically pre-calculus before you went to school, like how the A schools get, you know, in the upper middle class areas. But you didn't get that. So now you're not even at the entry level for college. So they're speaking foreign to you. You end up failing out of there. Come back, you got somebody pregnant. Now you got a kid to feed. And then here comes one of your homeboys from high school that's doing illegal stuff, you know, and he's like, hey, man, I can help you get like 10 grand in a night. And what do? They take a penitentiary chance. Certain percentage of them gets caught now. Certain percentage of them get caught later. By the time they're 25, they have either a record, a kid, or both. So now their hireability is lower. You know what I mean? And you couple that with like a lot of things like Clinton's crime bill of 94, which put 100,000 cops on the streets in the urban communities and things like that. You'll see how, you know, the perfect storm for shit to be hard for black folks was put in place. And basically the only people that made it through without problems were ones that were like squeaky clean. But I'm going to talk about in another video statistics of, you know, you take a black guy and a white guy in 1995, they do the exact same thing, you know. But no matter what, on average, statistically proven, and I'm going to have my cited sources, you know, that black guy is going to have it way harder, you know, from the amount of time that he would get stopped in a vehicle to the amount of times he would get arrested during a stop to the amount of time he would get a charge for that marijuana possession to the amount of backlash he would get from trying to, you know, work with it in the future, get a job with that on his record. And you know what's funny? It's black and white people smoke marijuana at about the exact same rate. But these statistics I'm going to give you are going to be pretty eye-opening. So, and let me tell you, I don't want to sound like I'm one of those, oh, everything's so racist, you know, because institutional racist, I do believe, is a lot better where I wouldn't say it doesn't exist, but it's almost to where it doesn't exist. But the problem is, you know, human nature, preconceived notions, and, you know, cops that, you know, they say, hey, you know, they have their own preset minds of how things are going to be, you know, like how likely are they to be attacked? You know, there are also some statistical shit too. They think, hey, I'm way more likely to be killed by this black guy than this white guy. So it's like fear based of how they respond to it. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, we'll get into that in one of the next videos. But for today, just want to say, you know, shout out to Trick Daddy. I was in the club saying, yo, no, man, and all that. That was a good song back in the day, 20 years ago or whenever it was that they played it. But I'm not really in a position where I'm going to make him the speaker for the black community. You know what I mean? Especially when you're bashing half the black women. But, you know, you can look at his video in the links to see what points he makes on that and why he doesn't, why he's upset with black women. But me, you know, I'm going to say there's good and bad in everything. Bad black women here. Good black women here. There's women with, you know, how are black women slipping when, like I said in my last video, 65% of them have bachelor's degrees and they're pretty much holding the community up. You know what I mean? You go in any damn business, human resource managers are almost usually damn near always held by a black woman. And that's like the backbone of any company, you know, so we need to get something comparable like that throughout the black men, get them in college or get them certified in something. Because those fucking days, the steel mills from back in the 60s and all that's over. Those jobs we used to have, 60s, 70s, 80s, that our fathers and grandfathers used to have, where they stay there 20 years and retire. There ain't no jobs like that anymore. And going forward, it's going to be a technological age. So if you're not on that pace, you're going to get left behind. So, you know, we need to talk about how we're going to fix that, you know, instead of getting trampled over. You know, there's a lot of viable solutions. It's just that people have to be willing to put that extra effort in, you know, and get out of that mindset of I can't do it, or it never will happen, or it never will happen unless the government helps me, because that's not true. But anyway, I'm done with my rant for now. Just remember, always aim at legendary so that you can land in success. I'm out.